I would say there was a period of my life, maybe pre-18, where I thought I might have been special in some way or another. I always wanted to be an actor or something like that. Yeah. And I was always the out there kid that was screaming and for attention, not actually screaming, but, doing things for attention at like family gatherings.
Yeah.
And the family were always saying like, oh, like you're going to be on TV and stuff like that, which probably gave me a belief in myself. I think, I lost it 18 to 22. And then afterwards, when I found the love of hard things from David Goggins, I started to find that again, I think.
Can we talk about that 4-year period from 18 to 22?
Yeah, for sure.
Where do we start?
I just think like many people who have the opportunity to go through success, especially, I don't know, in other cultures, obviously we grew up and live in Australia. From what I know in Australian culture and my own experience is that when I hit 16, 17, all the temptations of partying and alcohol come into the picture, and just like almost everyone I know fell into that. And I was very driven when I left school. I wanted to work in the health sector and I wanted to work in third world countries and make a difference. The uni degree I went into I really didn't like, so I dropped out almost immediately, and I just jumped into a trade. So I started roof plumbing, and the thought process around it was I'll start doing this now, it pays well, and I'll just do it until I find out what I want to do. And then I was in it for 6.5 years, and I think I just fell into the tradie culture a little bit, maybe the local football culture a little bit, and everyone I knew was doing that. So it was just a lot of drink, party, fell into a bit of recreational drug use. That went on for a couple years, and when I look back on it, it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but I think that definitely killed the self-belief and purpose in my life. And coming out of that, probably even maybe after 22 years old. Well, I'm 27 now, so like I haven't really been driven until 2 years ago. And it's all just that loop, I think. Drinking, working in a job that I really didn't like, being in cultures that might not be benefiting my purpose and pursuit in life.
So what were the darkest or most challenging time through that period was it for you?
It was definitely... I said I was going to be an open book, so I'm going to. I haven't really spoken about this openly with many people, but definitely a period in there where I was in a dark place due to the amount of recreational drug use I was doing, which could vary from every weekend to every month. I remember one day I cut my hand open at work and I had to have plastic surgery on it. And I remember a few weeks later, I was getting the stitches pulled out of my hand in hospital, and we were at a work breakup, and I was like, I'm not doing drugs. I'm not doing them. And then I got persuaded into doing it. And I remember waking up the next day, I had to go into hospital to get these stitches pulled out, and I was in the hospital room, crying, trying to hold it in the waiting room, crying to myself because I was so bloody miserable. Texting one of my friends, I remember I texted her, I said, I think I have a drug problem. And I wasn't on anything hard. I know there's a big drug epidemic in parts of Geelong, and I see it being a mental health worker now. It wasn't anything super hard, but I was like, I have a drug problem. And she was like, yeah, I think you do too. And I was like, fuck. Yeah. So that was a seriously dark point for me. And that it just flows into other areas of your life. So my relationships and stuff weren't in a position where I wanted them to be. I wasn't getting what I wanted out of life, and there was a period there where it was just I was fighting, because you do them and it depletes all your serotonin, and you just wake up feeling terrible, and then you just get stuck in another loop, and it's come Friday you get that feeling, you do it again, and it's a terrible loop. How
did you respond to that time where You thought you were in that drug problem, and then one of your friends agreed.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's really tough. How did you respond with that? Not like not a message, but like as in, how did you get out of that realistically?
It's hard because sometimes you're in an environment where it's like so normalized, and it's not like I never had anything like against it, like some recreational drug use, and it can be such a dangerous thing as well. I think coming out of it, it's hard to even articulate what I did or remember what was going on in that time. Not because I was so fucked up or anything, but I don't know if I've blocked it out. But I think I just slowly started realizing what it was doing to my own mental health and just gradually weaned off it.
And there would have been times where obviously you didn't speak to anyone, I'm assuming, about your issues. How come?
Oh, I think in that sector specifically, like, I think it was just might have been a little bit normalised for things like that to happen, and I didn't feel the need to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
But I definitely, like, growing... So when in my early on stages of mental health struggles, I didn't know anyone else going through stuff. I remember saying I knew one other person that had anxiety, and I just thought having that was completely embarrassing for myself because I got diagnosed when I was 18.
Yep.
And I felt like I couldn't speak to anyone about it. I felt like I didn't know what I was going through, so I felt like no one else knew what I was going through. And I mean, now I realise that, like, it's so common, like, and it's so okay to speak about it. But back then, genuinely, it was just what everyone calls the stigma was, like, so bloody real that you felt like you couldn't talk to anyone about your mental health issues.
Did you, like, want to talk to anyone, or did you feel like it was normal to just not say anything? Like,
yeah, for sure, normal to not say anything.
Yeah, so you didn't even feel like talking to anyone?
I didn't want to talk to anyone. So when I was 18, I was diagnosed with anxiety, and it was drug induced. So when I was traveling, not my fault, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
When I was traveling Southeast Asia solo by myself, I was in Laos, and one night when we were out, I got roofied. Woke up the next morning having seizures in hospital, like, big ordeal. And from that point onwards, I never felt like the person who I was before. So I continued traveling. I was having, like, heaps of out-of-body experiences. Couldn't explain how I was feeling. Had maybe a month or two left of traveling with heaps of health issues. And when I come home, we were just getting all these health tests done. Because I was happy to say, like, there's something wrong with me. I was like, there is something wrong with me. And I thought I was physically ill. So I was going to get all these tests done, and we went to specialists with my mum. And at the end of all the tests, one of the specialists just said to me, there's nothing wrong with you physically. He said, I think you've got anxiety. And I was like, nah, I don't. Like, that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
And I was feeling physical effects of it. So I was, like, shaking 24/7, feeling ill. I was having panic attacks, and I didn't even know what they were. And he told me, look, you've got anxiety. I got a care plan to be put on with a psychologist. Started seeing the psychologist, and I hated talking about it. I hated it. And I had a really bad experience with professional help. And the psychologist started to convince me that I was depressed as well. And in my mind, everything was, like, falling, like, crushing. I was like, I'm never going to be the person I was before. Yeah. And, like, why is this happening to me? And you can't think straight. Everything's spiraling. I ended up ghosting my psychologist. I didn't want to speak about it that much. So I didn't speak about it to one soul. The only person that knew, I think, was my mother at the time.